Welcome to One Girl in All the World, a Buffy the Vampire Slayer rewatch podcast where we recap each episode in order and discuss. I'm Ashley, Buffy superfan.
Kimmy, Buffy newbie.
You can find us on all major podcast apps, YouTube and Instagram, with new episodes on Tuesdays. Okay, we made it to season 5. I'm so excited.
Ashley's favorite season.
My favorite season. And I was just thinking while I was reading that, when you said like newbie, people on our YouTube have opinions about when you will be a newbie, which is
really
not much harder when you will not be a newbie, than mine. I am like very generous with your not newbie status.
What do you have people say?
That you have to at least watch it like twice through.
What?
To not be a newbie anymore. So I'm being very generous.
You are apparently being generous.
Yes, I'm like only the original show once because there's a lot. So
okay.
So I'm not.
I agree with that.
Okay, so I'm not as harsh as you might.
There are some diehard fans out there.
I'm just being kind.
Mm-hmm.
If you were anybody else, I'd be like, just the show once.
Drinking out of your Kiss the Librarian mug. Do these people, have they watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie multiple times? Because I probably watched that way more than any of them have.
Let me know because they're watching.
Okay,
let me know in the comments.
I feel like I should get points for that. I've seen that movie so many times that I could probably recite it.
You do get points for it.
Okay, well, I'm letting them know.
Okay, yes, she has seen the movie, guys.
So many times. As a matter of fact, there's a line in here that is a little throwback to the movie.
Oh, I didn't even catch that. So I'll look forward
I mean,
to
it's not a big deal. It's just whatever. But
well, like a lot of little details I share are not big deals, but they're still interesting. So
this was like when it happened, I was like, that was cute. Okay, it made me happy.
Head swivel.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yes, I am drinking out of my Kiss Librarian mug. Oops, side that's chipped.
For those of you that aren't watching watching the YouTube video.
Yeah, I chipped it and I was like, I bet like just buy a new one. I'm like, just keep this one.
It has character now.
Now it's not perfect. Anyway, and I'm wearing my Buffy sweater because it's chilly out.
It is sweater weather here. Oh my goodness. What do we like? I don't understand why we're paying such exorbitant housing prices to live somewhere this cold.
Well, it's not always cold, but yesterday was like my childhood. This was cloudy and rainy all day long. It's like,
I know. I got soaked going to and from work yesterday because I commute to work. I don't drive. So that was fun. It
was really coming down. But I'm going to be that person who's like, we need it though.
I mean, I know we do, but like, can it rain when I'm sleeping?
Yeah, exactly. Rain all night if you want.
Like, or even during the day when I'm at work, not like, I was rained on the whole way home from work. Like I walked from work to the train station and then I got off the train and it's raining as I'm biking home.
Oh,
and then as soon as I get home, it stops raining. And I'm like, yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah, that's annoying. All right, so now you know what our weather's like. Maybe we'll talk about this episode. All right, so
vampires,
grr, nasty.
The original vampire, the OG vampire.
Some would say debatable. All right, so we are talking about Buffy versus Dracula. First episode of season 5. I think it's a great starter for the season.
I really liked this episode. This was a strong start.
Yeah, this is great. All right.
Remember how I said I felt like last season, like not the last episode, but the one before that, I was like, they wrapped everything up so nice and neatly. I feel like maybe I could even stop watching the show. This drew me back in.
Thumbs fighting words. Stop watching the show.
I'm just saying. I like things wrapped nice and neatly.
Okay. Can we just talk about a few things? I gotta talk about a few things before we even dive into this. The Buffy, sequel / reboot / whatever with Sarah Michelle Gellar attached just dropped a few days ago. This will be coming out weeks after that news has come out, but it's pretty new for us. So I'm so excited. And I don't even know what it's going to look like.
I was just going to say, we don't know anything about it yet, right?
I know, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
So I think I read somewhere that they probably are going to have it's going to be new Slayer and Sarah Michelle Gellar will be a reoccurring. Who knows who will be brought, who won't be brought back. Who will, because of the aging technology that we have now, any actor can play themselves at any age now.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
We could have David Boreanaz, James Marsters. They could return with that technology, which before, that wasn't possible. It was the time's gone. Vampires don't age, so we could get that. That would be amazing. The possibilities. the possibilities. So
I
I
guess
am
we will
always
find out.
very hopeful and excited for these kind of things. Like when Slayers came out, the audible thing. I have never even finished it.
I don't even know what that
It
is.
was not great.
Oh,
It was
okay.
like
Definitely won't
Charisma
bother.
Carpenter, James Marsters. There was like
Oh, okay,
Tara,
okay.
Tara, I helped write. I don't know her name. Tara,
Okay.
Amber Benson, like a bunch of people. Emma
Huh.
Caulfield, like so. Anya, Tara, uh, Cordelia,
Right.
Spike, Clem, who you haven't met yet. A lot of people from the
Huh.
original show were in this like story, like in the Buffyverse. Like it was Audible only, and I still haven't finished it. I'm glad it exists, but it didn't do it for me. But that's okay. Some people loved it, so I'm always happy for more stuff, even if it's not for me. So
Okay. All right, that's good.
that we'll say that on that. So tell me in the comments what you think about the news that came out about the revival slash reboot, whatever. So
Are you as excited as Ashley?
I'm sure you like at least it intrigued as me. I'm sure there are people who are like, no, leave it alone. But I'm sorry, I'm not that person. You can just not
Sorry,
watch it and
sorry.
only watch the show, and then it will never infiltrate your whatever your Buffy bubble. So, but you know, I want it. Okay, and I can't believe that we have gotten even this far, and you have not mentioned the end of the episode.
The end of the episode? What about
Kimmy,
it?
please tell me you paid attention to the very last scene.
I definitely did. Oh, her sister.
Okay, yes.
Oh,
Hello.
yes. Well, there was just so much else going on in the scene or the whole episode.
This is like one of the biggest cliffhangers where people were
It was
like,
kind of
"What?"
weird too, because it's just like, yeah, the way they did it too. Like, she just walks into a room and she's like completely shocked at this random person in her room, and then her mom's like, "Oh, take your sister to the movies," and they're both like, "Ah," and it's like, so they know each other, and it's like that to me, the way they did that last bit was just like, so they actually knew each other, and they just are introducing her now.
Yeah, you're meant to be completely shocked and like, "What the hell is going on?" That's supposed to be your reaction.
But I mean, it was my reaction, but I also was just like, okay, but yeah, why had we not heard of her before?
Well, you know, we will
Was
find
she
out
living with
why.
Buffy's deadbeat dad?
We will find out why and why she's ever mentioned. Why like there's no pictures anywhere. Like
Oh yeah, that too.
like
Interesting. I also thought like
everybody has those questions.
Slayers always seem to be only children, it seems like.
Well,
So
we've only
this
met. Well,
we've
we've
met
met
a
three.
few. We've met a few.
Yeah, that's interesting. So we'll see, but we'll get to that. All right,
Okay,
but that was
let's get into it.
big like what
Yep.
at the end of this episode.
It was, yes. Of course,
Right.
I was paying attention.
Because usually, as soon as we like start recording, you're like, "Oh my god, this," and I'm like, "Wait till I hit record."
There's so many other oh my gods that I just can't even.
Wow. Okay, I thought for sure I was waiting for you to text me when I was like,
Oh,
"Watch
you're
the
right.
ending." I was waiting for you to
Oh.
text me. I'm like, "Oh my, she didn't text me."
No,
Okay.
I didn't. Yeah.
All right. All right. So Buffy versus Dracula. All right. It was originally aired September 26, 2000, written by Marty Noxon. Yay. And directed by David Solomon. And the synopsis is still searching for a normal life, Buffy is shaken by the awesome power and more than a little starstruck when she and her friends come face to face with the greatest vampire of all time, Dracula. While Buffy is powerless under Dracula's thrall, Xander becomes the Dark One's emissary and leads his friends into peril. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to Buffy, Giles is seriously contemplating returning to England as he feels she no longer needs his help.
See, that was a big thing too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot going on in this episode, not just the sister thing.
Yeah, I know, but it was like that was like the big like shocker.
Okay.
I mean, Dracula was in it wasn't a big shock because of the freaking name of the episode. So we knew that.
I did text you to say I thought he could have been more attractive.
He had amazing lips, but the rest of it,
He was not my
no,
my type.
mine either. But his lips were like good feature.
Mm.
All right. So we start the episode in Buffy's room / graveyard. And they're like, "Oh yes, this is like the season always starting out in a graveyard." But technically, we started in Buffy's room. So
She's sleeping. And
technically
wait, so
then-
she's in her room and Riley's beside her?
yeah, in her room.
So
at
they're
home.
allowed to have sleepovers in
guess
the
so.
same room
I
at
guess
her mom's
she's-
house? That would not fly when I was her age.
Yeah, no, probably not mine either.
No.
Only my very obvious gay best friend was allowed to like sleep in my room. Not in the bed with me, but in my was allowed to be upstairs in my room with the door closed or whatever.
I like even when I was moved in with my ex-husband, like we were living together, we still like we weren't sleeping in the same room when we went to go visit our parents.
Oh,
So weird.
when Matt and I were like at each other's parents and we were dating, we were in the same room, same bed.
I feel like after we got married, I guess. I don't know.
That's interesting.
Weird. Okay.
Anyway, yeah, so Joyce is like,
So,
whatever, I don't care.
I guess so. So then she can't sleep though. So
She can't sleep.
She gets up and what does she do? She goes to patrol.
Goes to patrol, gets it out of her system, and then she can go back to bed and she can go to sleep then. So
Yeah. She's like, relax. Much better.
Yeah.
Like she got up and had a cup of chamomile tea and now
A little bit of death puts her right to sleep. So we go to the credits and we come back. It's at the beach. They're at the beach.
and
the whole gang
beach
is there.
Nice. What a nice beach. This scene between Buffy and Riley was really funny because they're like tossing the football back and forth and he's like, you toss like a girl, and then she like pummels him with the ball.
Yeah, I find Riley incredibly annoying in this episode.
Yeah.
Like everything he says, I'm like,
he was Xander in this
shut
episode.
up, you
Reminded me
idiot.
of
He's
old
so
Xander.
idiotic. Yeah. He was so insecure and stupid and misogynistic in this episode, I thought.
Yeah, he was crappy.
He's like, you feel like a girl, and she's oh yeah, and then she takes him off his feet, which I was glad.
I like that. That was funny.
But Buffy's like, sorry, like, don't apologize. He just like tried to insult you. And then you, showed him. So so they're playing like catch with the football.
Yeah.
And Buffy just takes him off his feet because she throws, okay, I'll actually throw it. If that's what you want. And then they come over and Anya and Xander, Willow, and Tara are kind of relaxing.
Yeah.
And Xander is trying to start the barbecue or whatever.
And
the fire. Yeah, to make everybody burgers. And Willow is able to do it with her magic. And they're all very impressed. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
very impressed. She just says, you have to make sure you like keep the elements in balance because otherwise you can cause and then a storm rolls up immediately and it starts raining and they all have to run.
Like torrential downpour.
And I like when Willow's running, she's like, I didn't do it. Or it wasn't me or something.
I wonder if it was her or not.
Of course it was. It definitely was her. All right, so let me go to this like random castle in Sunnydale that I do like that they wrote in for Riley later. He's like, never seen this place before. Because we're all thinking, like, where's this place?
Where did that come from?
Yeah. So there's like some delivery drivers. They bring out this like long rectangular box. Yeah, like a crate. Yeah, exactly. They drop it and some like dirt comes out.
Yeah, well, they're also like, oh, this is heavy. We're not dealing with this. And it's raining. We're just going to leave it here.
Yeah. They work for the U.S. Postal Service, I feel like. We're just going to leave it out here in the rain and we'll just say you weren't home. Yeah, it's fine.
It's not our problem.
Not a problem. And because of their bad attitude, an arm rips out of the crate and kills them and like slashes their throats.
That's what happened when you don't deliver things properly.
That'll teach you not to deliver my package.
Yeah. It's fair. Okay, so this scene was funny. So we're at Giles' house and Willow is helping Giles transfer everything to computer. Like he's got a nice little laptop now and we're moving into the technology era. This is great.
He begrudgingly he is doing it. So he started scanning this stuff. Remember when in season 1?
Oh, I forgot.
Scanning that they scanned the demon into the computer, Malcolm.
That's right.
So he's still doing it. He's still trying to scan everything all these years later. And, she says, you've been doing this all summer. Like, can we do this in the winter? But he's been doing this all summer, and he just wants to make sure that they have everything at their fingertips.
Yes, he's been doing lots of little projects to make sure they're prepared.
Mm-hmm. And he says, because he tells Willow, I'm going to tell you something, but you can't tell Buffy. I want you guys to have all this and be prepared because I'm going back to England. Were you surprised to hear him say this?
I was, and I was sad because and it did make me wonder. I'm like, well, what are they going to do? Write him out of the show? Because I don't know actually if he's there later on or not. So I was kind of like, oh, that sucks. And just because he just kept feeling like at a place now, and just like he's not needed. It
makes sense, but it's sad.
Yeah, it is sad. I guess he just feels like he has nothing caring for him.
Yeah. And Willow kind of like freaks out. She's like, no, we need you. And Buffy says, Giles says, Buffy doesn't really need me anymore. She's like, well, I need to be watched. Exactly. They all care about each other. So she doesn't want him to move away for sure. Yeah. Don't tell Buffy, but it basically, Riley. Giles says that, but Buffy doesn't need him anymore.
Yeah.
So at Buffy's house, she's having dinner with Joyce. So we see Joyce again, which we haven't seen her in a while.
Just Buffy and Joyce, nobody else.
Having no other siblings or anything. Just spending time together, having dinner, and Joyce is, tries to get her to stay longer. Like, oh, we can go for a drive and get ice cream or whatever. It's kind of like sad because obviously Buffy's not been around much.
No, and Buffy's like, I gotta go patrol. Bye.
I gotta go patrol, but she doesn't hear. She's aware of what her mom's trying to do. She's like, we should make a regular date of this and stuff because obviously it's still summer. School hasn't started back up yet. That's why Buffy's at home. And Joyce says she'll have to get used to the house being so quiet again when Buffy goes back to school. So in the graveyard, Buffy's fighting a vampire, and it's actually a really good fight scene for just a random baddie.
Fight scene, yeah.
But then we see somebody materialize out of this mist or
fog.
smoke.
Yep.
Yeah, fog, mist, smoke, and kind of watches her fight. And she does stake the vampire, and then she runs into this guy who's all even paler.
Very pale. The palest of pale.
Palest of the palest vampires.
And he looks like he looks vintage.
Mm-hmm.
More so than anybody else.
Yeah. He's got his cape and his long hair.
Yeah.
And so he compliments her on her fighting and hunting, which it's funny. Remember a long time ago when she said hunting, in the first season, maybe into the second season. And I said, oh, that's funny because they moved to patrolling. I remember talking about this with you. Later, they moved to the word patrolling, and then hunting comes back around. It's a bad thing. But I was in the first while of the show, that's what they referred to as patrolling was hunting. But I think they changed it and then brought it back, as a negative thing. So it was interesting how they switched some language there. And he calls her a killer. Mm-hmm. And she says, I prefer the term slayer. Killer is... I paint clowns, which is a Gacy, yes, John Wayne Gacy reference because he painted clowns in prison.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. And he introduces himself as Dracula.
And this is the nod to the movie where she yells, "Get out!"
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Did she say that in the movie?
But she says it at some point in the movie. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, that's nice.
So that was funny. I thought that
nice
was really
and tie.
The way she says it too, because just the juxtaposition, is that the word I want, between the two, where it's just he's this refined, older, OG vampire, and she's like, that was Valley Girl.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cute. I thought that was a cute scene.
So what happens now? Yeah, then we quickly cut to Xander and Willow walking in the graveyard. They're going to go see if Buffy's hanging around the headstones. So Dracula tells Buffy that he came here to meet her, that she's known around the world of the Slayer, and Buffy's very impressed that he knows who she is. Mm-hmm. And she's like, everybody knows about me?
Yeah, that's nice. That's flattering.
Wow. I can't believe it. And he talks about her power, how she has a lot of power, but it's rooted in darkness. And Buffy's not really here for that conversation. Yeah. And he disappears. And then Willow and Xander arrive, and she's like, you guys need to get out of here. Something's happening, but they don't see anybody. Then he materials behind them, arrives behind them. And this part is really funny when Xander is, mocking him.
Yeah.
Somebody has some serious Dark Prince envy, and where'd you get that accent, Sesame Street? One victim, two victim, Xander's really funny. Yes. And then when Buffy says, I think that's really Dracula, he's like, oh shit, gets behind her, just joking, man, just kidding. And he says, this isn't a good time. Your friends are here, you're distracted. We need to talk in private, so we'll talk later. And he turns into a bat and flies over their heads. So we've already seen a couple things that are not normal for vampires, and we'll continue to see that. That's very Dracula lore, and definitely not Buffyverse lore. So at Giles, Buffy and Xander and Willow are telling the gang all about what happened, and they're very excited.
It's very animated. This is
It's
kind of the girls are kind of swoony over him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they tell us the gang, and basically they're all saying how sexy he is. Even Willow's he's sexy.
It's so weird because I don't find him sexy at all.
No, but they're the thrall. The thrall, I think, has something to do with it.
I'm wondering if it's not even that he's sexy, but he just has some sort of magnetism. Mm-hmm. So they just see that he's sexy even if he's not.
I definitely think that's part of it, for sure.
Yeah.
And Anya knows him. We find out that Anya and they used to hang out. They hung out a few times.
That's right.
No big deal.
Make Xander jealous at all.
No, he doesn't care at all. And I like when Willow tries to save. We all thought, wish Giles was here. Wish Giles was here to tell us what to do about this vampire situation. And he says, Giles says that there's a lot of myth with Dracula, so they need to kind of separate the myth, fact from fiction. So Buffy says we should hold off, do our homework, and not go after him, even though Riley wants to go after him right away, which is stupid. And Riley is getting very insecure in this conversation.
Yeah. Well, because Buffy seems,
intrigued.
Into it. Intrigued
by him.
Let's go with that. I like
so
that.
He gets jealous.
Mm-hmm. He definitely does, which is kind of dumb.
It is dumb. He's dumb. That's just it. So Buffy's gonna go home to sleep, and Riley's wired, so he's not gonna go to her house with her and go to bed. So on the street, Anya and Xander are walking, and she's kind of, he probably wouldn't remember me. Still talking about Dracula,
reminiscing.
He said like the guy that I cursed was doomed, so it's just like, that was sweet. Didn't you think that he said that? Like, Anya's like, reminiscing about her memorable time with Dracula. And Xander is not happy about it, obviously.
Xander's not into this.
He's not into it. And they see there's a wolf. They don't see. We see that there's a wolf walking on the top of the espresso pump, like watching them.
Yeah. So Dracula turned into a bat. Seems like he can be a wolf. It's pretty multifunctional.
Mm-hmm. Hope it's useful. So Anya says she's not going to come over to Xander's because it's White's day, and the bleach gives her a headache because remember he lives in the laundry room essentially. So he goes home by himself, and he runs into Dracula on the way home.
And Dracula's like, "Hey, why don't you be my minion?"
Yeah, he's like, "No way, yes, master." So he is using his mind control
so quick. But I mean, like, Xander's mind control is like instantaneous.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it's like he didn't even try.
It's Dracula was like, okay, this guy's the weakest link. I'm just gonna like walk up to him, and that's all it's gonna take, and that's all it took, really.
Oh my god!
So he promises that he will, if he's basically a spy, he will make him into a immortal. And Xander's like, okay,
yeah, that sounds great.
Yes, master. Yes, master. So he rushes him into being his minion. At Spike's crypt, so this is our first Spike sighting of the season, Riley comes in to ask Spike about Dracula.
This was clever. That's a good way of researching. Yeah,
so he figures, he might know about Dracula. He offers to pay him, so Spike's like, okay, I'll tell you what I know. So apparently, Spike and Dracula are old rivals, and that Dracula owes Spike 11 pounds.
Yeah, right.
So he owes him some money.
Spike keeps track of that.
He would. That can get you at least 2,000. How many packs of cigarettes could that get you? When you have no money, 11 pounds would be good. It would be good to have. Yeah.
I think it's funny how Spike was like, it's his fault everyone knows how to kill vampires.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he went and got famous, and now everybody knows how to kill us. And Riley says, well, what about all of his powers? And he says it's mostly, air quotes, gypsy stuff. Mostly just like tricks and gypsy stuff. And that if he was looking for him, basically he would find him in like a luxurious state, because he needs a luxurious state. His bug eaters.
That'd be crypt.
Yeah, bug eaters, which is basically his minions, and like fancy dirt and all this stuff. Like he has like a reputation to uphold, so you're not going to just find him and wandering around any crypt. And Xander, no. Riley and Spike kind of have a little face-off here. That he's like, Buffy. Riley says Buffy has a hard time or wanting to kill you because of you've helped them out and you're like helpless. So Buffy's just happy to leave you alone, but I'm not. Like I'll kill you.
I don't have to do that.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with killing you just because you're defenseless.
Yeah,
and harmless.
And Spike's like, I guess I will back down now.
Yeah, because what's he gonna do? He can't even defend himself.
Nope.
And I'm like, Riley, if this was an even fight as far as Spike didn't have a chip, please.
This to me, this little scene, my penis is bigger than your penis.
Yeah, and Spike's kind of like, I'm like, if Spike's penis wasn't in a chastity belt, his penis would kick Riley's penis. It'd take its lunch money. Let's be real. And Riley knows that. What is Riley trying to prove here? He knows the guy can't even point a fake gun at somebody.
Yeah, he's being a dick.
He is. He's being such a dick in this episode.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So, what is Spike gonna do? Like, so yeah, he just backs down and Riley leaves.
Down.
Feeling like the big man. Get out of here, Riley. All right. So at Buffy's, she's sleeping and we see the fog, smoke.
How does he get in the house?
Whatever.
I don't know. I mean, they resolved that later, but I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. Yeah, you start picking up on those things.
I was like, is he allowed to just get in houses? Like, is
he's
this
like
one
special.
of his special abilities?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
So he comes in the window. Like, why Buffy would sleep with her window even cracked, that I don't know.
I was wondering that too.
Dumb.
Yeah.
And so he comes in, he like materializes in there and wakes her up.
Yeah.
And he immediately starts like kind of like thralling her.
Yeah, he's like, you're magnificent.
Yeah, and she at first is herself, and then you can tell that she starts becoming like hypnotized by him.
Yeah, he has. I think Spike said it. He has hypno eyes.
Yeah, and he tells her to pull her hair back, and he can see the bite marks of Angel. We're assuming it is Angel because the Master also bit her. So this is the
third. I thought it was the Master actually.
This is the. I think they're referring to
about Angel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because this is a third vampire that will bite her.
Damn.
Yeah, so he tells her to pull her hair back. He talks about her scar, that vampire wasn't worthy.
Exactly, that one vampire was unworthy, and I was like, oh.
He let you go. And talks about how they're kindred.
Yeah, which, okay.
Which Buffy doesn't like that. They're kindred because they're both like killers. And he wants to taste her, so he bites her. And he says, like, you want this.
I was surprised that happened, actually.
Yeah.
I thought for sure she'd just be, like, not into it. But I guess he hypnotized her pretty good.
Yeah, and she was like, okay.
Yeah.
And seems okay with it. So in the morning, she wakes up, gets ready, and she, like, sees the bite. And
so she's
like,
got to tie a little scarf around her neck.
Gotta hide that. That's not a good look for a Slayer to have. Gotta hide that. So they go to Giles, and, like, we notice Buffy and Xander are acting strange, of course.
Yep.
Buffy's, like, weirded out that she just let Dracula bite her.
Yeah.
Of her, air quotes, own free will the night before and hiding it. So she's probably very ashamed, too. Yeah. And Xander is really, like, Nicholas Brennan did a great job, like, being, like, brainwashed Xander. I think he's weird enough to still be Xander, but everybody knows, like, looking at him, like, what?
He's just, like, he's acting extra, basically.
Yeah, he keeps causing him, like, the unholy prince, and this isn't going to work on the unholy prince. You know, like, he's so smart and all this stuff. He's complimenting him, calling him all these crazy names. But, yeah, so Willow and Riley kind of share the Dracula info that they've brought up.
Yeah. So, Riley was saying how they need to check the swanky places first.
Swanky places. And that Willow says that he needs of course he will just kill to feed, but he wants a connection to his victims. He'll use his powers, like mind control and like showing up in dreams, to basically seduce them. Yeah. He wants a relationship with them. He wants them to want to become a vampire. And so he'll do that. But he doesn't, the game isn't there. It's just like a little bit Angelus-y. Because there's like a whole game and like all this stuff, like mental game that like Angelus.
It's a chase.
Yeah, it's a chase. Angelus didn't have mind control powers, but he loved to like torture and like draw out situations. Like he really liked that. So this is kind of like that in a different way. But he wants to turn someone into a vampire. He wants them to want it.
And then, Giles kind of comes in saying it's like an intimate seduction, but the end result is the same.
Yeah, they get turned.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, like, you can have all your fun you want, but you're still going to end up a vampire. So
yeah. Yeah. And I mean, we do see Xander eat a spider behind everyone, which is gross.
Gross.
So he's starting his spider his
bug eater.
Yeah. So Buffy says, okay, well, I better take care of this. I'm going to leave. And everyone, okay. She just gets up and walks out.
Giles tries to warn her. Like, he specifically builds relationships with his prey. Like, so you got to watch out for that.
Yeah, because he's obviously after Buffy. Like, he's made that clear.
Yep.
And so she walks out into the courtyard. Riley stops her. Like, you can't, like, go after him by yourself. And he definitely picks up that something's going on. And takes her scarf off. Yep. And then you see the bite.
Yep. Oh, Buffy.
They all come out and they're like, oh.
Yep. drama.
Why didn't she tell us what's happening?
Exactly. And then, well, what I didn't like is that Riley tries to compare Angel and Dracula, some sort of transfer. I was like, what are you talking about? They're both dark and brooding.
He makes it about
What?
him. 100% makes it about him.
Dracula has mind control. She's not leaving you for Dracula. She's being hypnotized. Like,
Yeah.
what is wrong with you?
Yeah, no, he was,
Dumb.
again, it's so annoying in this episode. Buffy says that he definitely has some control of her. She doesn't know why she hid it, but she had there was like a voice in her like to hide it. So obviously there's like some residual like stuff from him. And I said, yeah, Riley makes it all about him. He's like, I guess I shouldn't take this personally and all. It's got nothing to do with you. Like, I understand that this guy got designs on your girlfriend or whatever, but he doesn't even like, his concern for Buffy is like secondary to his ego being.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Ugh. Riley in this episode was awful. I did not like him.
Not great.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Giles just is basically telling her that she should lay low for a while and that him and Riley can go look for Dracula.
Yeah.
And then Xander's like, oh, Buffy, you can come stay with me.
Yeah, because we can't go to my house because he's already been there. So Xander and Buffy are going to go to his place, and Willow and Tara are going to go to Buffy's house and try to do some kind of spell to keep him from coming back. And Willow says, how did he get in anyway?
Exactly.
How did he get into your house?
And then next scene, they're at Joyce's house, and Joyce is like, he just seems so nice.
Hey, it's rough dating out there, girls. It's rough for a lady my age.
Jeez.
So I just invited this creepy-looking guy, and she knows all this stuff exists.
Exactly.
Like, not a good idea to, like, in Sunnydale, not a good idea.
Not to invite randos in the house.
Like, pale guys with capes. Not a good idea.
Could you imagine if there was a guy like that on a dating app?
One time, Matt and I went into a CVS in Florida, and there was a guy dressed. It was not Halloween. It wasn't even October. It wasn't anywhere near Halloween or anything. And he was just like walking around dressed as a vampire, like that, like a Dracula vampire.
Cool. All right.
I don't know if he was maybe he was going to like a costume party. I don't know, but it was weird. Anyway,
I hope so.
All right, and one funny thing about this scene too is that Joy says, "You girls will see when you're older. Sometimes you just want to give up on men altogether."
Yeah, I understand Joyce. I was her spirit sister in this.
Yeah,
episode.
so and of course Willow and Tara are kind of like giggling to each other because they have given up on men altogether.
Oh yeah, that's true. I didn't even think of that. That's funny.
So at the mansion, a random mansion, Riley and Giles are not having luck.
Yeah.
Finding it, and the sun is starting to set, so they're going to try to rush these last couple places and see if they can find anything. So sun is setting at Xander's. And after the sun sets, Xander locks Anya in the closet.
Yeah, she's being annoying, and he's just like puts her in the closet. I'm like,
puts her in the closet
Xander.
Because he needs her out of the way. And he's like, hey, I need to deliver you to the master now. Is that cool?
And she's like,
okay. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, so they just get up and walk out. and they go to Dracula.
Everybody.
So at the mansion, Xander delivers Buffy to Dracula. Dracula tells him to leave. He's like, okay. And he walks out. And Buffy immediately pulls her stake out. She's like, I have my own free will. And he's like, put that stake down. She's like, okay.
She's like, I did it because I wanted to.
I meant to do that.
Yeah, I wanted to.
And then she's kind of like, I am in over my head right now. And she starts like backing away. Like, this is not a good idea.
No.
This is bad now. And she's really struggling to like keep hold of her free will. Like over and over, she's like in it, she's out of it. Yeah. Yep. So she's definitely struggling with it. Riley and Giles arrive, and when they come in the front door, we like see like a female vampire like watching them like from the shadows, keeping an eye on them. And then we go back to the like main dining room where Buffy and Drac are, and he talks like, I have so much to teach you, like about your history, about your power. Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you can't resist me because you don't want to.
Yeah, deep down you don't want to, really. Yeah. And basically talks about how like they're alone, always alone. Like this is reiterating like this like Slayer alone theme that we heard that we saw in Restless, because we get a lot of like reiteration from Restless in this episode.
Okay.
And he's like, it's time like you have a taste, or like that. I don't remember how he says it, but she's like, I'm not gonna let you. And he's like, for you're gonna have a taste.
Yeah, which is weird.
Yeah, so obviously Giles and Riley have split up. Riley comes across Xander, and he's like, I'm not going to let you hurt the Dark Prince. You have to go through me. And so Riley immediately just punches him out cold. And
I thought that was kind of funny.
Riley, being the Iowa boy he was like, okie dokie.
Poor Ashley was not having Riley in this episode. So Giles is trying to find Buffy, and he falls, and these 3 sisters come on him.
Yeah. They come on him all right. He basically falls into a basement with no stairs.
Yeah.
Just,
like a pit.
And they all just like started like
touching
pit. Him. Yeah, pit of females. And they all started touching him. He's like, oh no, stop it.
Yeah, please stop.
God, stop
they rip
it.
his shirt open.
Yeah.
Stop.
Stop it, guys. Stop it. This is inappropriate. And that's where we leave him. So back with Dracula and Buffy, he cuts his wrist and
she's like, no.
Like, yeah, don't you want to know like what we fight for? Like what this is all for us, blood. And she confirms to him that she won't turn. Because she's drunk his blood already. So he says, no, you have to be near death for us to exchange blood for you to turn. And he says, you don't know what you are, what's to come, you haven't even begun. Which we have heard. This is the 3rd time we've heard those lines.
Okay, we saw that. I mean, I don't remember the first time, but the second time was the last episode of the last season.
It was twice in that episode, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So,
Tara told her that, and then she reminded herself of it at the very end of the episode. Like, she like replayed it, and then Dracula's telling her this now. So, very much nodding to Restless here.
Okay.
And so she ends up drinking it.
Yeah, which is gross.
Yeah, it's gross. And she basically has like a vision.
Yeah.
Of like blood and like heart pumping and her fighting and Sanea, the first Slayer. We see a little bit of her. And then it kind of like snaps her out of the thrall. So
that was interesting to me. So he mind controlled her, hypnotized her, whatever, to drink his blood, I feel like. Because she would have not done that normally. Mm. And then like you said, she has a vision, and then she like snaps out of it. I was like, weird, because I'm assuming that's not normally what happens when people drink his blood. I don't know.
She's no. I'm sure he hasn't like done this with Slayers.
And she's like, that was gross.
Yeah, and then she's like, ew. Kimmy's right, this is gross. So then she's like totally out of the thrall, and she starts to fight him. And this fight scene goes on for a little bit. Yeah. But we see Riley finds Giles and saves him. I say saves a reluctant Giles. He's like, oh, there was no escape.
There's no escape.
Oh, my shoe. I don't have my shoe. I should just go back down to get this. He's like, no.
No more chick pit for you.
Yeah. Riley knows exactly what's happening here. Okay. He's like, there was no escape. Thank God you came. I should just go back down and get my shoe.
Might take a while.
Might take a while. Why don't you come back? Why don't you go get Buffy and circle back with me, okay? So Buffy and Dracula are fighting some more. And he disappears. And she kind of like sees where he's gonna like reappear.
She senses, I feel like. She's using her Slayer instincts.
Mm-hmm. And she runs, grabs that stake that she dropped earlier, and then as soon as he materializes, she stakes him.
Yeah. This was also, I will say, a bit of a nod to the movie.
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Not the like materializing stuff, but just like in the movie, she has to like sense where they're gonna appear. Basically.
Oh yeah. Slayer senses.
So, but I liked that, yeah.
And then her, Xander, Riley, and Giles reunite. Mm-hmm. And Xander is very upset because he's come too, and everything's, the thrall is broken on him. And he's
no, what did I do?
So mad that he's been taken advantage of, and he's done being everyone's butt monkey. I'm sick of it. Like, he is just like so annoyed that he's always being like used in these ways. And they're like, okay, Xander, no more butt monkey. Okay. Just like patting his little head, making sure he's okay. And then Riley says, well, it wasn't as bad. You could have been making time with the vamp chicks down in the basement.
Yeah. I'm sure Xander wouldn't have minded
He's
that.
like, I was going to kill them and you came and distracted me.
Yeah, sure.
I had it under control. So they leave. But not before we see Dracula start to materialize again.
Yeah.
And Buffy stakes him again and says, I've seen your movies. I know you always come back. Which I thought was cute. It was clever. Because that's what happens. He always comes back. And then he starts to come back again. She's like, I'm standing right here. Like, wait until I leave and then get out of here. And that's basically probably what happens.
And so that's it then. So she didn't actually, like, when she staked him, he didn't die then. Oh, so he's not gone. So that was, okay.
No, so I think he just left town in shame.
Okay. All right.
All right, so at Giles, Buffy and Giles both have news for each other. Or, like, things to talk about. That warrant tea and biscuits. Tea and cookies.
Right.
So Buffy goes first, and she says she really wants help exploring her power. What it means, where she came from, the other Slayers, that Dracula knew more about her power than she did. So there's a lot of, like, she didn't agree with a lot of what he said, but she knows there's some truth in it.
Mm-hmm.
That there was, like, darkness in her power and stuff, and she doesn't really understand it.
Yeah.
And so she needs him to help her through that journey, basically, and she's scared. She can't do it without him.
Yeah, she wants to be able to, like, learn more about herself and control her power better.
Yeah, she thinks that, she could be stronger if she learned about this.
And harness it, yeah.
Yeah, and basically says, I need you to be my watcher again.
Yep.
And you can see Giles' face. He's like, my baby needs me. And so she's like, what did you need to talk about? He's like, nothing. Yeah. So he's obviously not going to go to England.
Good. Yeah. We don't want that.
He feels useful again, Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because we didn't see it happening. We didn't see the training happening, but we confirmed her that she's, like, not even training with him at all.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's been a friend and a father figure, but he has not been a watcher in any way.
Yeah.
The past year since he's been fired.
Yeah, she needs to get her training back on.
Yeah. So he is going to be her watcher again.
Okay.
So now, the final scene, we go to Buffy's house. She walks upstairs. Her mom's up there. She's like, oh, me and Riley are going to go to the movies. And she walks into her bedroom, and there's a teenage girl there.
And she looks shocked. Like, my instinct was, like, she's never seen this person before in her entire life.
Right.
Like, the
Buffy
way she
says,
acted.
what are you doing here? And then Joy says from the other room, if you're going out, you should take your sister with you. And then they both go, Mom!
Yeah.
And that's the end of the episode. And everyone's like, what the hell?
Yeah. Okay, so what is this? So she's, like, what, 15, 16?
I think she's 14.
14, okay.
If I remember correctly.
Okay, so they decided in season 5 to bring in a random sister. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Okay. We will see. There's a lot with this, as you can imagine.
Okay.
So.
Okay. All right.
Alrighty. And that is Buffy vs. Dracula. All right. So my favorite quote, it kind of was, there's a bit in the middle that I kind of like took out. But I just laughed and laughed and laughed. I always laugh at this. When Xander says, Xander and Dracula are talking. And Xander says, I will serve you your excellent spookiness. And then Drac says, you are strange and off-putting.
That's cute.
Your excellent spookiness.
And strange and off-putting basically sums up Xander a little bit.
Strange and off-putting. Oh, God. That's so funny. And my favorite scene was the end scene with the new person. Because it's like it's like a very big shock to, like, when Buffy fans are, like, watching this for the first time, they're like, what the hell? Like, it's a big, like, ending of a episode where you're, like, just, like, gobsmacked. You don't know what's going on. So that's why I picked that one.
Okay. All right.
And it has very consequences. So, yeah.
I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
I have a 3-way tie for my favorite line.
Oh, wow.
First one was the get out one when he's like, I'm Dracula, and she's like, get out.
Yeah, that was cute.
And I really liked the no more chick pit for you.
Yeah.
And then when she stakes Dracula and she says, how do you like my darkness now?
Mm-hmm, that was good too.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah.
There's a lot of good lines.
Yeah, there really were in this episode. And then my favorite scene was actually when she comes out of the thrall.
Mm-hmm.
When she snaps out of it and she's like, okay, that's it. Like, we're
time to party.
Yeah, let's get her done.
Let's get her done. All right, so as usual, I feel like I give it a 4.8.
Yeah.
I think it was did you too?
I did.
Yay!
That's a rare occurrence.
Yeah. I feel like it was a very strong start to the season.
Yeah.
Very strong start to the season. I think it bridged to season, because usually there's a pretty severe separation between the seasons.
Mm-hmm.
But because of Restless, it did like it's tying into this more. Yeah. With all the things that Dracula was saying to Buffy and like things that she was kind of thinking about in her dream in Restless. So lots of Restless ties in. It's Dracula. Do I need to say more? Like, that's pretty iconic. And so having Dracula and Buffy have a little episode together is just like great. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I put ew for Riley. There was very little in this episode that I liked that Riley did or said.
Okay.
He was like such a macho, like insecure man in this episode. He was very, very insecure and stupid in this episode. I'm not happy with Riley in this episode. And then the cliffhanger. I thought it was well done and shocked. Like you're like, what? You don't know what to think. So, I liked that part of it. Oh, and I read on the interwebs that in Australia they made this episode the season 4 finale.
Oh, really?
So you had to wait 3 months to find out who this bitch was.
Whoa, that's weird. I wonder why they made this season. Can they do that?
I have no idea. This is the first time I've actually heard of that.
Because it's an American show, so I thought they would just have to go by the American rules.
Yeah, I mean, so when obviously it came out in America first, and like overseas, it like takes a lot longer for it to premiere. Yeah. So obviously they would have had like new episodes before that, so they could have done it, but whether they'd be allowed, whether they were, I don't know. I don't know the meaning, the rationale behind it. But can you imagine seeing that scene and then being like, "See you in 3 months"? Annoying. Yeah. So I thought that was interesting.
Same. Okay. I loved Dracula. I love that. Yeah, great villain. Good choice for the first season, episode 5. Very strong start to season 5. You've got my attention.
I'm more excited than I should be.
Because I'm a huge Dracula fan. I thought the thrall was interesting. I liked that. That was different. Interesting that they didn't kill him off. I liked how Giles was kind of like humming and hawing about going back to England, but then ultimately decided to stay. That was good. Mm-hmm. And everybody's getting along in this episode, which was nice. I don't know, just overall a good episode.
Yeah, that was well done. Okay. Real Me is the next episode.
Mm-hmm. What's the question? Because I got the last one right.
You did? You did, yeah.
I did. Very exciting.
So there's a few options for this answer. So that's good. God, okay. It's good for you.
Oh, okay.
It's not like so specific that you'll never know.
Great.
What is stolen from the magic box in the next episode? Which is the magic shop. Magic shop. Something is stolen.
From a magic box in the magic shop?
Not a magic, that's what it's called.
From the magic
box.
Shop.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's the name of the magic shop. Is the magic box.
Yeah. Something sold from a magic shop. What would be in a magic shop? You have like top hats and and you'd have
like a magician.
Capes. Yep, that's what I'm thinking of. Wait, is this the magic shop where they go buy their supplies?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Jeez.
So it's like a real, like, air quotes real, where you get like stuff for potions and yada yada.
So I don't know, something for a potion? Potion.
A potion is stolen.
Liquid, no ingredients for a potion.
Okay.
Potion ingredients?
Okay.
God, I don't know.
All right. Okay. All right. So that wraps up season 5, episode 1, Buffy vs. Dracula. Again, you can find us on all major podcast apps and YouTube and Instagram at One Girl and All the World Pod. You can also email us at onegirlpod@gmail.com. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week with season 5, episode 2, Real Me. So you're real soon. Bye.